Shave heads, not points. We got the Buford offensive coordinator with us, Gus Condon. Coach, appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me, man.
A little late night football talk. So you just got off a second state championship win, but just kind of tell us, where you grew up and how you got to Buford and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Again, thanks for having me. I grew up in Douglasville, Georgia. I was a 1999 graduate, Douglas County High School. Went to junior college for a couple of years. I played, a couple of different sports and wound up going to JUCO route. Wound up at Liberty University. Played quarterback there. Was at Liberty for 3 years. Graduated in 2003. In 2003, after I graduated, my offensive coordinator at Liberty took a high school job in Virginia. That was my first 2 years coaching. So I was fortunate, working for Frank Rocco in Virginia. Learned a lot of ball from him coming fresh off of playing. And then wanted to get back closer to home, had a couple stops, was at West Georgia for a year. Went to Newton County High School for a year. And then I think it was, 2008, Jason Strickland took the Lamar County job. And Jason hired me to be the coordinator. I was young, you're gung-ho about offense and football and single, right. And, but very fortunate, for that opportunity. Coach Strickland's now, you guys know, head coach at Ware County, tremendous football coach. And, I can't say enough about the guys along the way that have poured into me as a coach, as a man. So he certainly was one of them. I spent a couple years down in Upson County, Upson Lee High School with Tommy Watson. He's now the head coach at Lambert High School. Tommy was down at Lowndes. Left there, and then I went to Valdosta, worked for Rance Gillespie for 2 years. Very fortunate. Coach Gillespie's a great friend of mine. He poured into me, taught me so much ball, taught me how to work, working at a place like that, and the things that he had to juggle and lead. He had a tremendous impact on me. Very grateful for that. And a lot of things that I do, now are a direct reflection of the things that I learned from him, and things like that. So was fortunate, Coach Gillespie, he wound up going to Georgia Southern, and Coach Simpson called me from Buford, gave me an opportunity here. My first year at Buford, I was coaching wideouts. Neil Auer was the offensive coordinator, great football coach. Neil's one of the smartest guys that I've been around in the coaching industry. And then a couple of years, our Coach Simpson left. A couple of years, Coach Applin gets the job and, hands me the offense. And, for the first time, you really, get to do it on your own. So that's kind of where we're at now, man. This was just finished up my 5th year here. So, extremely blessed. And like I said, just to be at a place like Buford, for one, the support that we get, just the as small as it is, the portion that I have this as the offensive coordinator, it's so big, standing on the shoulders of giants. Coach Wood, the place that he, how he built this thing, and then Coach Simpson, and like I said, man, just as a teacher, the support that you get, from the city, the Board of Education, all the way to the administrators at the high school, then our ADs here at the high school are so, impactful and supportive, and work so hard to, make sure Buford, upholds what it's been built on, and just fortunate and blessed, man, to do a little, my part and try to contribute a little bit and impact these kids. And then, the opportunity to work for Coach Applin, I can't say enough, about his leadership. And like I said, he lets us work, man. And the way he leads these kids and the way he runs this program is second to none. So very fortunate, to be here and blessed. And the football part is fun. It really is. But pouring into these kids, we got great kids, and being able to pour into them and watch them grow as young men, that's a great honor. So
that's great. Now, so like I said, you just came off your second state championship in a row. Are those your first two as a coach?
No, actually, that was my fourth. This past one was my fourth. Yeah. So I told you I hooked up with my offensive coordinator in college. My first 2 years coaching. Man.
Okay.
I lucked out and we won 2 state championships in Virginia.
Okay. So, I got you.
Yeah.
So, what school were you at in Virginia?
Matter of fact, it's the high school that is associated with Liberty University.
Okay, I didn't know there was one that does that.
Yeah, it started at Thomas Road Baptist Church. Lynchburg Christian Academy.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's still like that now, but in the past, those kids that went to school there, graduated high school from there, would get some kind of money off their tuition at Liberty.
Right.
It was a pretty cool deal. And Frank Rocco is a great football coach and an outstanding man, and poured into me as a college, football player, and then, got to see that side of the coaching with him and things like that. So it was awesome.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about, especially these past two. I mean, you've gone both state championships into overtime. Came from behind last year, came from behind again this year. Talk us through this one this year, because you've been able to be very fortunate to have two quarterbacks that support each other and feed off of each other, that one has started and the other one has come in both years, and y'all been able to win the state championship. So just talk about how they're able to work together and how you were able to pull this one out in overtime this year too.
Yeah, I can't say enough about those two guys, man. Dylan Wicke and Ashton Daniel. And a lot of people think Ashton's the backup. He's not the backup. I got two guys, and they're both, my number one. And it's juggling that. Those two guys are competitors, man. And Coach App preaches that. We preach that about, not making it about you. And that's hard at the quarterback position, man. I played there, and they're watching, kids at other schools break records, throwing the football and yards and this and that. But they are true, team players, selfless individuals, who care about their teammates. They care about their team. They care about how they lead. They care about their game and, being good quarterbacks. And that's not just, taking the snap on Friday. That's the preparation that it takes and learning the game of football and being a master in our offense and being able to lead and step in that huddle and not miss a beat. And that's, we got a good thing going, at one point early on, reeled off 13 straight, man. And,
right.
We certainly in this last game, we didn't start like we wanted to. I think we had seven penalties in the first half, which is uncharacteristic of like the game that we like to play. But like I said, you can look across the line of scrimmage and those guys may have had something to do with that. Lee County is a tremendous football team, and their defense, was really good. The false start penalties we had, a couple of them. I mean, you look out there as a 14-year-old tight end,
Yeah.
getting a false start, and he's got, those guys across from him that are stemming on the snap and moving around, and they play a little bit of unconventional odd stack defense that creates some problems. And I've told 2 or 3 people this. They're like, were you guys nervous? Were they nervous? And maybe a little bit. I don't think it was necessarily nerves. I just think they had enough respect for Lee County and their athleticism that they didn't want to, be beat off the line of scrimmage, beat the ball. So, but certainly, one of the penalties was a holding penalty that, got offset by a face mask. The one, the third play of the game was an illegal shift. Dylan was stepping back as he was receiving the snap, or I'm sorry, as he sent the receiver in motion, and that's unfortunate because he made a heck of a run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We settled in, and from a goal standpoint, I mean, we have goals that we shoot for offensively, and those weren't too far off of what they have been throughout the season. Certainly, a couple 3 and outs we right. shoot to not have those, but we had a couple that game, and but for the most part, man, I'm so just proud of those kids and the resiliency, to keep fighting. I mean, it was just a war, for 4 quarters and went into overtime, like you said, and our kids just found a way, man, to keep fighting and got it done. So, but like I said, the start wasn't great. It was a back and forth ball game. We get it. I think with a minute 58, 2 timeouts, minus 35. I think, and Dylan, I don't know. I think there was maybe under 3 minutes, right around 3 minutes or something. There was a 3rd and 6 on our sideline. He pulls it down. He gets, we wound up getting the first down because of the personal foul. He kind of got hit late, hurt his leg a little bit. And from there on, we kind of went with Ashton. And then in the 2-minute drill went with Ashton. He was 6 for, I think he was 6 for 7 in that deal to tie it up. And to be honest with you, I mean, one of the worries that I had, I looked up and there was still, 51 seconds left on the clock. And I said,
yeah.
Hope we didn't leave too much time, but you don't, you got to go down there and get the thing, tied up. But yeah, man, I can't say how proud I am of those 2 guys just for, the season and the production that they've both been able to have, and the respect that their teammates have for them, and what they've done this year and managing that. And, I mean, who wouldn't want 2 starters in this COVID
back room? Yeah.
You get a guy quarantined. I mean, what do you do?
Yeah.
Or Dylan, say he did get hurt for the game, and I mean, you turn to a guy, I don't know. We're just fortunate to have both of them, and I don't think we miss a beat. I don't think they're the exact same guy,
okay.
But I can't say enough about those 2 guys, man. But yeah, impressive 2-minute drive again by Ashton. Handled the pressure. Took 1 shot here and there, but stood in there and threw the football. He's just such a humble kid, really poised, and just a competitor, man. Those guys just wouldn't be denied. So
absolutely.
Overtime, probably the first deal, quarterback power, first call in overtime wasn't a great call. And I think the third down right there, we had a low snap and the throw was a little bit off. I think we get the ball to CJ a little bit quicker. He may get the first down. Who knows? But Coach App made the right decision. We kicked the field goal right there. And, our defense held up, man. They made a heck of a first down, and I think they got it all the way down to the 2. And we got that ball loose.
Yeah.
And, so, like I said, man, it was a heck of a game. It was back and forth. But, and hats off to, to both teams and both players and all the coaches and all the people that, poured into those 2 programs in that game, because it was a thriller.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I felt so bad for that kid for Lee County, because he had just put them on their back all night long and scored 3, maybe 4 touchdowns for him. I can't remember. And, for him to go in there and that be his last snap as a Lee County football player,
Yeah. I can assure you he doesn't have anything to hang his head about, man. He's a great player.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Talk to us a little bit about y'all's philosophy at Buford. 13 state championships in the last 20 years it's okay. It's kind of impressive, but I'm
in awe of it every day, man. Like I said, the people, the people that have come before us, like I said, the people that played here before me or before I was here, the guys that have coached here before us and all that type of stuff, man. I mean, you just that's the whole deal. This community and what Buford is, you take that all into account, and Coach App has done a great job, getting our culture is strong, and our kids are great. This senior class we had, was unbelievable, and bought in every day. But Coach, like I said, Coach App goes in there every day and puts that mission and that vision in front of those kids, and they're about the right stuff, and he's more about what kind of men and what kind of citizens they're going to become, over how good of a football player they are, how many stars they have, and they truly put Buford first, and that's what we take into account offensively. We align everything with that, being selfless, your toughness. How tough you are mentally and physically, your effort, relentless effort in your pursuit of whatever you're doing, whether it's in the weight room or your classroom or, on the practice field and the game, and then just trying to improve continuously and never being complacent and, having our kids embrace hard things. We try to put them in situations, just like everybody else does. But our kids really, grab a hold of that stuff and embrace it. So that's our philosophy offensively is right in tune with all those intangible things that makes Buford special. And certainly we hold those things very valuable to what we do and the culture. And you talk about offense and how you execute. And everybody wants to execute, and but how do you do that? And that's what we talk to our guys about. And I think the two are intertwined. I don't think you can execute at a high level if your culture, is not strong, and those things aren't in place. And I'm not saying culture is going to, having a great culture is going to win you football games. I'm not saying that, but I certainly think it can help you win some that maybe you wouldn't win, the other way around. So we certainly value those things, but I think they come hand in hand. And I tell our kids offensively all the time, football is football. Mm-hmm. And it's not about what we do as much as it is who we do it with, but those kids care about one another and they believe in playing for something bigger than themselves. And every time they put that gold hat on, man, it's about Buford. It's about this community. It's about all the guys that played before them. So, like I said, our offensive philosophy ties right into that. I mean, it's you hear the coordinators get up, the head coach gets up, talks, whatever it is. If it's Coach Snell in FCA, I mean, everybody's pulling on the same rope, and and that's a credit, like I said, to the guys that have been here, and even like our like Coach Wood and our AD, Coach Wolf and Gene Durden, Stuart Chester, all those guys, that are in other programs, but we're all in it for the same deal, and that's Buford, and putting that above everything. So, as far as the football, portion of it, from a philosophy standpoint, kind of the things we hang our hat on, physicality, and we, part of Buford, the DNA of Buford football is winning the line of scrimmage. So we have good skill guys, we got good quarterbacks, we've got good running backs, we've got good receivers, DBs, but we really, we make the guys up front the forefront of what we do. So that's definitely, where we start. Now we want to be multiple, what I mean? Personnel groups, things like
absolutely.
that. We believe in, we want to be different, I mean, there's a bunch of good offensive, there's a bunch of great offensive coaches and great offensive football teams that are spread, no huddle, fast, they keep it simple for their kids and all that type of stuff. I want to be a little bit different, and that's what we do, because when we talk about the three phases of football, we talk about offense, defense, special teams. When our defense is playing like they played this year, man, I mean, I want to be on that field, and we want 8, 9 play drives and
absolutely
and with points. So the 5 guys up front is where we start, being multiple in what we do formationally. We want to play a physical brand of football, whether in whatever we're doing, run blocking, blocking on the perimeter, pass pro, it doesn't matter. We want to be physical. And then, all the other things, protecting the football, not beating ourselves, winning situations, and all the situations that present themselves, talking about the state championship game. I mean, that's a situation. We practice that 2 times a week.
Yep.
We have a 2-minute situation 2 times a week. So, our kids can be confident in those situations because they're prepared, and credit to them, what I mean, for the way they prepare. But probably the other big thing is just being the best team, and that's what we talk about, having 2 quarterbacks, or, we've got a stable of running backs, and so, with that being said, I can't say enough about my assistant coaches that I get to work with. I mean, Coach Winslet and the offensive line, Coach Dasher and the tight ends, Coach Davis and the running backs. I mean, what they do for our run game is phenomenal. And the stuff they pour, how they pour into their kids and prepare their kids, and what we do is unbelievable. And Coach Manley, and Coach Gilbert with the wide receivers and the quarterbacks, and Coach Manley in the passing game. I mean, we've got some unbelievable coaches, and certainly you this as well as I do. You can't do this thing by yourself.
Right.
And, those guys are amazing in what they do and what they bring to the table. And our offensive success is tribute to them, in a lot of ways. So all those things fit into our philosophy, and is that everything? No, but in a nutshell, that's some of it. So,
yeah. So, when we were talking on the phone the other day, we were talking, and you mentioned this a minute ago, a lot of people want to play fast now. I like to play fast. I like, spread, up tempo, no huddle.
No doubt.
I haven't, been around a huddle since I was a senior in high school. We were still running wing T.
Yeah.
Even when I started coaching, we were, up tempo, no huddle, Tony Franklin. And the whole point of an up tempo, no huddle offense is to keep the defense on their heels and, keep them guessing, what are they going to come out with next, not changing personnel, and as long as you don't sub, then the defense doesn't get a chance to sub for time. They don't have to stop play. But y'all's philosophy is the same, but in a different context. Y'all's philosophy is not up-tempo, fast, no huddle. It's huddle. We're going to get in 20 personnel. We're going to get in 21, 22 personnel, 13 personnel. And we're going to shift and we're going to move you around. How do you prepare for that kind of, not defensively, but how do you guys install that kind of stuff where, and I see y'all, I told Fyrone this a couple months ago. I said, man, y'all really push the envelope on the coach's box. I said, because y'all are out there on like the bottom of the numbers every single freaking play. There's about 3 coaches and about 6 players out there on the bottom of the numbers. And he just started laughing. But, every single play, y'all having 3 or 4 subs go in and out. Talk about the management of that and the installation of all those subs and packages.
Yeah. And you said it. I mean, I think there's different ways that you can tempo people. Playing fast and no huddle is certainly really hard on defenses and creates a bunch of problems. And it's really intriguing. And we have some ways we can get in some stuff like that. But we start, we base out of in the huddle. We base out of 21 personnel with a tight end and a fullback. And and that's where we start. We're zone and gap schemes, but we can create some tempo and keep you off balance a little bit. We believe in cadence. That helps a little bit. Not allowing people to just pin their ears back and come at you. So I think you can create different tempos, certainly by personnels and different formations and things like that, and then the shift and trade stuff. We always have some kind of reason that we want to do that, whether it be finding a matchup or finding to displace somebody, that get them in a spot that may be a little more uncomfortable for them to play, or trading a tight end to a guy that's not used to playing, a six technique or something like that. So there's always something behind it. But there's no mistake that we start with. We believe in running the football and playing a physical brand of football. And that's just what we believe in, and playing good defense and being really sound in special teams and not beating yourself. So it kind of ties together, and that kind of fits the mold of what Buford has looked like. And we've kind of opened it up a little bit, with some things. This is
right.
year two for myself and the offensive staff. So we're trying to get better. You know what I mean? Football's always changing. So
right.
By no means do we have everything figured out. There's a bunch of guys out there, doing it different ways, and there's no right or wrong way. I think it's what fits you, what fits your kids, and I think that's what we do a good job of. Is we're broad enough offensively that we're not going to change a whole lot for those guys up front. We're going to run the same schemes, and how we do it, what personnel we do it out of, can change. So that's where we can be a little bit more multiple, or we try to be multiple. So how you manage that, we have different personnel groupings that we name them and all that type of stuff, just like everybody does. But
right.
Our kids do a good job of communicating in and out, and it's just preparation, it's practice. And, that's what we do. And we try to, our kids do a really good job of not focusing on, the end result or the production. They focus on the process of practice. And we believe that, to perform well on Friday, you're going to perform like you do Monday through Thursday. And our kids do a good job, man, of staying in the moment, taking, one step at a time and focusing on the task at hand, and not worrying about, as much as who we're playing and all that type of stuff. So our kids do a good job with that. Our coaches do a good job organizing it. But like I said, I can't say enough about my assistant coaches and what they do with their groups, being able to do that stuff. And some of them have guys that play both sides of the ball. And it's hard, but we have smart kids. We have kids that are intentional about their work, and they care. And they care about being a good football player. And they care about Buford, and they care about being a good Buford football player. So,
What kind of going out on a limb here with adjustments. When you're in that game, let's say 2 weeks ago, and you're kind of not where maybe you thought you're going to be, especially with all the penalties and all that sort of stuff. When you're in the locker room at halftime and I'm talking scheme adjustments. It doesn't have to be necessarily that game, but what's one of the toughest scheme adjustments that you can remember that you've had as a coach or OC that you look back and you go, man, we made the right decision, or we didn't make the right decision?
Yeah. We moved up in classification, but our region this year, there's a bunch of good football coaches in the state of Georgia, and doesn't matter what classification you're in. I'm just saying this year was new for us. And there's people that do something, that make adjustments every week that you don't see on film. That's what football is. So I don't know that there's one time where we said, hey, that was the best adjustment we made. To be honest with you, one of our big things is we're going to try to make the adjustment before. I mean, I don't want to wait till halftime. You know,
Right.
I want to after that series, if we need to adjust something. But that's where, you know, our offense is built. I talked about it being built around the guys up front. I mean, we ID fronts a certain way, and, you know, people stem the front, do some different things because they see our quarterback, you know, declaring the mic and this and that. But that doesn't change, you know, what we're doing up front. Now, I mean, does some things give us some problems here and there? Yeah, but we work on the hardest looks that you can get, that you can anticipate, and, you know, we're used to seeing a different front, you know, snap in and snap out. I mean, very rarely. I mean, you don't ever see no defense is going to line up the same way. You know what I mean? And just
Right.
whether it's a, you know, odd front or something like that, it's not just going to line up and play, you know, snap after snap. You're going to get some stuff. You're going to get some movement. You're going to get all that type stuff. So once our kids, you know, understand fronts, you know, our kids on offense understand defensive fronts and how defenses work, you know, it's just a progression of that. But so at halftime, it's, you know, usually pretty seamless to make some adjustments. You know, I think you have to look at what the adjustment needs to be made. Is it a personnel matchup? You know, are we at a personnel disadvantage, or is it execution, or is it scheme? Is it, you know, am I calling bad plays, or you know? So we do a great job. Those guys do a great job of communicating the guys in the box, the guys on the sideline, and then getting that information relayed to our kids on the sideline. So when we get to halftime, you know, we may have to show them again, or we may move to something else. But we want to get those things rectified as quickly as possible, for sure.
Who from this year's team do you say is probably the easiest one that you've had the opportunity to coach? Just another coach on the field, and they're thinking the same way that the offensive coaches are. It doesn't necessarily have to be you, but you know that if all the offensive coaches had to, you know, leave for some reason, this guy knows the offense in and out, and they could do
a player.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know, and I'm not joking when I say it. I mean, I could go in each room. I could go in the running back room, and there's 3 or 4 running backs that could lead the meeting. I can go in the upstairs in the wide receiver room, and there's 3 or 4 guys that could get up there and run the meeting. You know, and certainly, you know, in the quarterback room, you know, both of those guys that played this year can, you know, they run the offense. And you know, if I gave them a script and said, hey, go do it, you know, in the offensive line, I mean, they could, you know, these guys, they're, like I said, it's year 2. It's not perfect, but we're in a good spot, you know, and guys are more comfortable, and we're able to, you know, put a tweak here, put a tweak there on a, you know, on something, and not saying, you know, generic, basic scheme. I mean, we're gonna do what we do, but if we want to, you know, give a different look or something like that, our guys really understand that now. So I don't think there's one guy, you know, that jumps off or jumps to mind. I think there's multiple guys, you know, that could do that. So that's, you know, that's, like I said, that's a testament to the coaches that are coaching those kids.
Now, have you always been in a pro style offense as long as you've been coaching, even when you were in Virginia, or was that new to you here?
Yeah, the offense, you know, I played for a guy named Ken Karcher. He's an NFL guy. My coaching staff in college was NFL, you know, staff, those guys. So what I played in college, yes, you know, when like I said, I was with Coach Strickland down in Lamar County. You know, like I said, you're young. You think you know what you're doing. You think you know some ball because you're young. You just got done playing until you get around some people that know that do know some ball.
Yeah.
And you know, that's kind of, like I said, getting in the room with Coach Gillespie down at Valdosta. I mean, I knew immediately when I met him, I said, this is where I need to be. And I was at that point, you know, I'd been a coordinator for, I don't know, I think 5 or 6 years. And then I got with him and said, you know what, I'm going to be the best position coach that I can be, and get in the program and learn some ball. And man, that was not a bad experience because
Yeah, I bet.
Coach Gillespie is an unbelievable football coach, and his knowledge and like I said, his ability to run a football program and still manage and run an offense, it was unbelievable. So, and that's, I mean, that did a great deal for my career and me as a football coach. Just him pouring into me and taking me under his wing and teaching me so much ball. So, yeah, I mean, I like running the football, and I think there's, I'm intrigued by the, pro style stuff. Now I'm also intrigued by guys that can intertwine the two
parts.
Yeah. I mean, some of the, more spread stuff and all that. So like I said, man, the game's always changing, but I certainly always want to, be a little different. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I also don't think there's anything wrong with, what everybody else is doing, what fits. But certainly at Buford High School, I know what fits, and that's what I like doing. So,
well, last question before we let you go. What's your favorite play to call, and why is that?
One that works.
Come on.
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean,
the power is it, game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on, what situation you're in. I mean, there's nothing like, I mean, I love, who doesn't like play action, and that's kind of my thing. I think it's, like I said, it ties into your philosophy. I mean, getting in 3-by-1 and singling your dude up to get a one-on-one matchup, or getting in 21 and, somebody's playing quarters or whatever. I mean, you can get a one-on-one matchup however you want to get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the fun part. I mean, like I said, if you can run the football, you can do a lot of things off of it. And that's why we believe in that. And we want to be great at that, because it opens up so much more of the other stuff. So if there's one thing, no. I mean, I can't think of one play or one scheme,
What's your favorite?
That's my favorite. I mean, we're a wide zone, wide zone team, and run power and counter and some pin pull stuff and some auxiliary runs, and but we're going to do those 6 or 7 things.
Yeah.
And try to be really good at it. So, but the kids are what makes it go, man. And having the opportunity to just coach them, so they can go out and execute, learn the game of football, and play the game the right way. That's better than calling plays, pouring into those kids, seeing them grow, seeing them, maximize their potential.
Yeah.
And then, create opportunities for themselves if that's what they want to do. But, kids that want to overachieve, work hard, just blue collar kids, man, it's fun to be around those kids.
Absolutely.
So, that's kind of it. I mean,
yeah. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on with us tonight and, telling us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how everything worked this year. Because there was a little bit of adversity there the second half of the last game of the year, but good luck to everything next year. And thanks so much for coming on.
Coach, I appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.